We talk constantly about the creator economy. It's this massive, buzzing, trillion-dollar concept that's, well, it's in every headline, but nobody really talks about the creator infrastructure.
That's a really good distinction. Yeah. We focus on the money or the views or the algorithms, but we rarely talk about the plumbing.
Exactly. And for most people, that plumbing is, well, it's a mess. It's a ring light taped to a stack of books.
Mm-hmm.
It's waiting for the neighbor's dog to stop barking so you can record a 30-second clip. It's the unglamorous reality behind the glamorous job.
It's friction, pure and simple. And that friction is actually a huge barrier to entry.
It is. And that friction, it kills more ideas than bad algorithms ever will.
Yeah.
I was reading through this stack of notes we have for today, and there's this recurring theme.
Okay.
The gap between the high-end production we want, that crisp professional look, and the micro-scale hassle we actually have to deal with to get it.
Mm-hmm. It's a paralyzing gap. You have a brilliant idea for a LinkedIn video or, a YouTube analysis, but then you look at your messy background or you realize your audio interface is acting up and you just think, maybe tomorrow.
And tomorrow never comes. So today we are diving into a solution that claims to close that gap. We're looking at a concept titled Precision Content Engineering, and specifically something called the Voxel Micro Video Lab.
And I want to be clear right off the top, this isn't just about renting a studio. The sources frame this as a complete rethink of how video is made.
A rethink? How so?
Well, they're comparing the traditional Hollywood model, which is frankly a dinosaur in this context, to this new microlab concept.
They call it a high-tech fast lane for your brand. And looking at the specs in front of us, it looks less like a creative space and more like a manufacturing plant for content.
Which, in the current landscape, is exactly what creators might need. The core conflict here is really interesting. It's this battle between wanting to look like a pro, but needing the agility of an amateur.
Right. So today we are going to look at 3 big shifts this lab concept introduces. We're going to look at the scale, the physical difference between a movie set and a voxel.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to look at the workflow, how it changes the speed of creation, and we're going to look at the output, what you're actually making.
And honestly, the definition they start with sets the tone perfectly. They call it a turnkey, sound-treated environment.
Which sounds lovely compared to my current environment, which is a chaotic, echoing spare bedroom.
Right. But the key here is the voxel aspect. The source material uses voxel as a metaphor. Now, you're a bit of a tech person. You know what a pixel is.
Sure, pixel is a dot on a screen, a tiny square of light.
Exactly. But a voxel is a volumetric pixel. It's a pixel with depth. It's a 3D building block.
Okay, like Minecraft.
Exactly like Minecraft. Think of Minecraft blocks. Those are voxels.
Okay, I'm with you on the definition.
Mm-hmm.
But why apply a digital 3D term to a physical room? Is that just marketing speak?
No, I think it's actually a really crucial insight. The Micro Video Lab isn't just a room you stand in. It's a modular unit of your digital presence.
A modular unit?
Yeah, the source argues that traditional studios are like painting a landscape canvas, broad, flat, expansive. This lab, it's about stacking blocks.
That's a cool visualization. So you aren't trying to capture a whole world, you're trying to build a structure, block by block, video by video.
Precisely. And to do that, you need a micro footprint. The source contrasts this sharply with the full-scale production suite.
Right.
If you walk into a traditional studio, you're paying for like 2,000 square feet of empty air. You're paying for the space to swing a boom mic or drive a car in.
But if I'm just talking to a camera for LinkedIn or recording a podcast intro, I'm paying for 1,990 square feet of air I'm not using.
Exactly. It's wasted overhead. The voxel concept compresses all that value into a streamlined lab setting. It's designed to be intimate.
How intimate?
Well, the sources describe it as having the visual punch of a TV set, but the acoustic intimacy of a recording booth.
That acoustic part is huge. I feel like we underestimate how much room tone, that echoey, hollow sound, ruins the perception of authority.
Oh, it's the #1 subconscious signal of amateur. You can have a 4K camera, but if you sound like you're in a bathroom, people just tune out.
So the voxel approach basically says, we control the physics of this 10 by 10 cube perfectly, so you don't have to worry about the chaos outside of it.
And that combination is really rare. Usually, if you want the visual punch of a TV set, you need a big room to throw the background out of focus and set up backlights.
Right.
If you want acoustic intimacy, you're usually in a closet with foam on the walls.
The classic closet podcaster vibe. We've all been there. Sweating in the dark.
We have. But this micro footprint is about merging them. It's small, but it's designed to eliminate echoes and distractions. It's all about control.
Total control. In a massive studio, you spend hours just lighting the space.
Right. And in a micro video lab, the space is already...
It's solved.
It's already solved. It's scaled down for maximum agility.
And that word agility brings us right to the second big shift, which I think is probably the most important one for anyone listening who actually has to make stuff onto deadline. Yeah. We need to talk about speed.
The workflow revolution.
Yes.
Yes.
The source material uses this great analogy. It says traditional film production implies a slow process. You film today, you see it in 6 months.
Right.
But the micro video lab is a high-tech fast lane.
And this is where we get into some technical but very cool terminology. The source defines a key concept called micro turnaround. Micro
turnaround. Break that down for us, because usually turnaround in video means how long until the editor sends it back?
Essentially, it's designed for live-to-tape recording. Now, for those who aren't video nerds, live-to-tape implies that you are recording the signal exactly as it will appear in the final product.
So no raw footage?
No raw footage that needs color grading. You aren't recording audio that needs to be synced later.
So wait, in a traditional cinema workflow, you shoot raw, the image looks flat, the audio is separate, the colors are dull, you have to edit it to make it look real.
Right, you're gathering ingredients, not a meal. You have raw chicken, raw vegetables, and spaces. You still have to cook.
Great analogy. So live-to-tape in the micro video lab means the meal is cooked as you record it.
The lighting is baked in. The color grading is applied to the signal before it even hits the drive. The audio is compressed and EQ'd in real time.
So when I hit stop, the file on the drive is finished.
It's 95% finished. Maybe you trim the start and end, maybe you add a title card, but yeah.
That sounds terrifying to a perfectionist.
Does it? Or is it liberating? The source argues that heavy post-production is actually just procrastination disguised as quality control.
Oof. That is close to home.
Well, think about the velocity required today. If it takes you 2 weeks to edit a video about a news event, you've missed the window. The micro video lab model is trying to solve that latency.
There is a stat in here that actually made my jaw drop. They claim this efficiency allows you to record a month's worth of content in a single afternoon.
That is the batching holy grail.
A month's worth. Imagine being done with your entire social media output for February by lunch on February 1st.
But you can't batch if you have 20 hours of editing waiting for you on the other side. You can only batch if the output is instant.
It shifts your psychology.
It does. If you look at the traditional studio model, it's an event. You prepare for the shoot day like it's a wedding. It's high stress.
Right, because if you mess up, it's expensive to fix in post.
Exactly. But if the workflow is live to tape and you have this micro turnaround, content creation becomes a habit, not an event. You aren't making a movie, you are building a library.
Which leads us perfectly into the third shift. We've talked about scale and speed. Now we have to talk about ease of use. Because even if it's fast, if it's hard to operate, I'm not doing it.
Right. And the source material addresses this directly as the problem solver aspect. They identify the specific friction points that stop businesses and creators.
Let's list them, because they are painfully relatable.
First, lack of space. Not everyone has a spare 500 square feet. Second, the cost. They specifically mention the $10,000 in gear.
And honestly, $10,000 is a conservative estimate if you're trying to match what a studio looks like.
Oh, easily. Let's do the math. A cinema-grade camera body. That's $3,000 to $4,000.
At least.
A lens that gives you that blurry background. Another $1,500.
Then you need lights. And not just one light. You need a key light, a fill light, a rim light to separate you from the background.
And heavy-duty C-stands to hold them up so they don't fall on your head. And the audio interface. And the shotgun mic. And the cables.
It adds up fast. But it's not just the money, is it? It's the setup time.
That's the third friction point. Even if you have the gear, do you want to spend 45 minutes setting up lights every time you have an idea?
No. That is why my camera stays in the bag. I have a great camera. It lives in a closet because the thought of unfolding the tripod feels like climbing Everest.
Exactly. So the Micro Video Lab positions itself as a turnkey solution.
Turnkey. I love that word. It sounds like real estate.
In this context, it means the professional lighting and audio are already dialed in. The user journey described in the text is literally walk in, hit record, and walk out.
That is the dream. It removed the technical barrier. You don't have to be a cinematographer. You just have to be a person with something to say.
There is a really vivid image in the source material that I want to highlight. They say, the era of the messy bedroom podcast is over.
Ouch. I feel seen. I think a lot of people feel seen by that.
It's a harsh truth, but an important one. Look at the timeline. In 2020, during the pandemic, the messy bedroom look was a badge of honor. It signaled authenticity.
Yeah, I'm just like you.
It said, I'm just like you, stuck at home.
Right. Low production value meant real.
But we are years past that now. The audience's eye has adjusted. The standard has been raised. Now, poor lighting in an echoey room just signal unprofessional. The source argues that to stand out now, you need precision.
Precision content engineering. That's the title coming back around.
Right. And they mentioned specifically that this example lab, the Voxel Lab, positions itself as offering professional-grade media right here in the South Bay. So it's bringing that Hollywood fidelity to a local, accessible level.
It's an outsourced content department.
That phrasing is interesting, isn't it? Outsourced content department. It changes how you think about it. You aren't renting a room. You are hiring a facility to handle the technical side so you can handle the creative side.
And that separation of duties is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
In the DIY at home model, you are the producer, the director, the cameraman, the lighting tech, the audio engineer, and the talent.
And the janitor. Don't forget the janitor.
And the janitor. The Micro Video Lab model says, you be the talent, the lab is the tech. It's a specialized studio designed specifically to remove the hassle we talked about in the intro.
Yes. Okay, so we've got the room, we've got the speed, we've got the ease. But what are we actually making? Because you mentioned earlier that traditional studios are built for movies, but I'm not making Dune. Part 3.
No, and please don't try. Leave that to Villeneuve.
I promise.
The fourth shift is output focus. This is really critical. Traditional studios focus on long-form cinema. Wide shots, landscapes, huge dynamic range.
Okay.
The Micro Video Lab is optimized for micro content.
Micro content, which effectively means social media, right?
Mostly, yes. The source details specific aspect ratios, 9.16, which is your vertical format for TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts, and 16.9, the horizontal format for YouTube or traditional video podcasts.
It's interesting that they're optimizing the physical space for these digital formats.
That is the precision part.
Yeah.
Think about the physics of a traditional movie studio. If you were in a massive soundstage, framing a vertical video for TikTok can actually be kind of awkward. You have too much space on the sides. Right, you're lighting a whole set that nobody sees. You're lighting a 40-foot wall for a slice of video that's 2 feet wide.
Exactly. It's inefficient. The Micro Video Lab is designed to frame you. It's built for the talking head format, which, let's be honest, dominates the internet.
The source lists some specific use cases here. Hosting a guest for a deep dive interview. Batch producing TikToks. Video podcasting.
Those are the 3 pillars of modern digital influence. And notice none of them are shooting a TV commercial or filming a music video.
Right.
Those belong in the traditional studio. The Micro Video Lab is for high-frequency, personality-driven content.
It's interesting how they frame this shift. It's not just making video. It's building your digital presence using these voxels.
Yes. If you think about a voxel as a building block, then every TikTok, every podcast clip, every interview is a block. You are building a structure of authority online.
And you can't build a massive structure if it takes you 6 months to lay one brick.
That is a fantastic analogy. If you're building a wall, you need to be able to lay bricks fast. And if you're using the traditional studio model, you're essentially carving each brick by hand out of marble.
Beautiful, but inefficient.
Exactly. The Micro Video Lab is giving you pre-cut, high-quality bricks and a conveyor belt.
I love that. So let's zoom out a bit. We've covered a lot of ground here comparing these two worlds, the traditional studio versus the Micro Video Lab.
It really comes down to 3 main takeaways for me. First, the scale. We're moving from the full-scale production suite to the micro footprint. It's intimate, controlled, and distraction-free.
Second is speed. We're going from heavy post-production, the slow lane, to micro turnaround and live to tape, the fast lane. The idea that you can leave the studio with your content effectively done.
And finally, output. We aren't making movies, we are making micro content. We're optimizing for the 9.1 and 16.9 worlds that actually drive business today.
And sticking a pin in that turnkey promise, the idea that you can walk in, hit record, and walk out. No $10,000 shopping spree at the camera store required.
That is the democratizing factor. It takes the problem solver approach to the physical constraints of video.
The headline from the source material really sums it up best. Stop doing video. Start building your lab.
It's a shift in mindset. Doing video implies a chore. It implies a task on your to-do list. Building your lab, or using a lab like Voxel, implies constructing an asset.
It's funny, we started this by talking about how much we all want to be creative, but how the hassle gets in the way.
It does. It's the #1 killer of creativity.
And it seems like this micro video lab concept is really just an elaborate way of removing every single excuse we have.
That is the danger of it, isn't it?
It really is. And that is where we want to leave you today. Think about that concept of the voxel, the building block.
If the barrier to entry, that $10,000 gear list, the acoustic treatment, the lighting setup, if all of that is removed.
And if the messy bedroom is no longer an acceptable excuse.
And if the editing bottleneck is gone because of leave to tape.
Then we are left with a very provocative question. If the tech is solved, and the space is solved, and the speed is solved, what is the only thing left that limits you?
It's just your ideas.
And maybe that's the scariest part of all. No more blaming the camera.
Just you and the record button.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. Now go build something.
See you next time.